Are you trying to figure out how in the world Tennessee comes up with the amount of child support they make you pay? Are you wondering what the circumstances are, or how, what kind of rationale or reasoning the state uses to say you have to pay X amount of dollars every month to support your child or your children? Hello, my name is Patrick Slaughter, and we get this question pretty frequently because sometimes, and honestly I agree, the way child support is calculated doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. But there is a rationale that's supposed to be used by Tennessee courts. We, like most states, are supposed to calculate child support according to the income shares model. Sounds fancy. What that income shares model does is it takes the two parents for the child and says, what does parent A earn and what does parent B earn? And it adds that together, and what they earn is their gross monthly income, not subject to net or taxes or any other kind of deductions, but what is just their gross monthly income, and it adds that together. Then it takes this gross total for monthly income and looks on an actuarial chart and says, well, parents who earn that amount of money typically spend X amount of money on their children to support them in a month. Don't know how they calculate that. Again, it's an actuarial model. But once they come up with that number, that's the X amount of what the total support that parents similarly situated who earn that amount of combined gross monthly income earn, then they'll look and say, now how is that gross monthly income divided? Who earns more, who earns less, and what's that percentage? So for example, if you earned $800 a month and the other parent earned $200 a month, you add that together, it was $1,000. The parent who earned $800 a month would be considered to have 80% of the income. The other parent would be considered to have 20%. And that would be presuming that the parents were exercising 50-50 time or what have you. Now, if you're the parent that makes $800 a month or makes more money and your income, your gross monthly income is the equivalent of that, and it's $1,000 support, that $800 a month would be your child support obligation, presumptively, unless there are other things to add or take away from that. And there's other items that can be added to the child support calculation, such as work-related child care. If the other parent works and they have to pay for daycare so they can work, that expense can be factored in on their side of the child support worksheet. If one of you receives a federal benefit for the child, such as maybe SSDI or SSI or something of those fashions, that can be entered into the child support worksheet, which would also result in a credit or a deficit one way or the other. And there's some other things. If you have other children in the home, there's other situations, but that basic number will then be adjusted based on how many days each parent has with the child on the parenting plan. So if you have 50-50 days, that original presumptive child support amount is going to be pretty much right, plus or minus the additions that come from the other exemptions that could be added to or taken away based on the child support calculation worksheet. But let's say that you don't have 50-50 time. Then that child support obligation is adjusted based on parenting. So what this usually equates to and ends up in is one parent is seeking to maximize the amount of time they have with the child or children in order to minimize the amount of child support they pay. And this can be on either side. It's not just deadbeat dads, or we have plenty of mothers that pay child support, plenty of stay-at-home dads. It goes both ways. And it's supposed to be calculated the same manner in each fashion. So that is the way, the method, the rationality that Tennessee uses to calculate child support. I would urge you to just Google Tennessee Child Support Calculation Worksheet or Tennessee Child Support Calculator, and you'll be forwarded to the Tennessee Department of Child Support Enforcement. They have a calculator on their website that you can download as an Excel spreadsheet or you can use right there on the web that will allow you to enter what you believe your spouse's income is, or I shouldn't say spouse, the other parent's income is, and your own. Enter the number of days, and you can run for yourself a worksheet to see what the presumptive amount may or may not be. There's also instructions in the worksheet that tell you how to complete it. You'll get information about, again, like I said, child-related daycare, health insurance premiums paid for the child, things of those sort work as a credit or a deficit, depending on which side of the equation you're on. But that would be what I would do if I was in a situation and I didn't know how much my child support was going to be. That would be the first place I would go, and I would try to figure that out. If you have problems figuring that out, or it's just, a quagmire because there's lots of kids and there's always special circumstances. There's always some things that can change child support one way or the other. We're going to talk about a few of them a little bit later on. But if you need help with that, feel free to pick up the phone, give us a call. If we can help you, we're happy to do that. I know it's a complicated subject, but we're happy to try to explain it to you the best we can. And again, it always helps to understand what's going on and how it's calculated so that you don't feel like you're just being taken advantage of or that something doesn't make sense. Knowledge is power to a large extent, and it certainly makes it easier to take the medicine. So again, hope this helps. If you have any questions, reach out. We're happy to help.